There's our new tornado warning. That does include, of course, Parker County. It includes, this is Hood County, this is Johnson County, and this is Tarrant County. So tornado warning is in effect right now for Hood, Johnson, Parker, Tarrant until 11:45. I mentioned just a couple moments ago that, you know, I was starting to see this thing wrap up, started to see a little bit of circulation. And again, you know, we just talked for a moment ago about the winds within this thunderstorm that Jesse and I were doing a little analysis off camera. It was like 88.9 miles an hour. So we're looking at some damage here. Here's Weatherford up to the north, and then the college is right in this area between downtown Weatherford and just north of I-20. And then south of there, that's where we have rotation. So let's put, Jason, put that, animate that for me if you don't mind, please. The tornado warning goes until 11:45. Man, this thing is really just almost moving due east, isn't it? And Cassie, you spent over 11 years up in Oklahoma City. This isn't the first hook that you've seen. What's your analysis on this as it moves toward this southwestern corner of Tarrant County?
I mean, it's definitely clear that, you know, there's that hook there. Looking at the velocity product, it's not a tight circulation, but you usually don't see that kind of thing when you start to see this more of a, you know, a bowing line. This is more going to be a damaging wind event. And when you get these kind of tornadoes, they're lived, they're brief, but they can still cause damage. But a lot of this line could actually cause some of the same damage because we're looking at winds at over 80 miles an hour. So yes, there could be a quick spin up, and that's definitely what this looks like, basically just north and east of Baker, and it's about to be on Highway 171. It would be moving off to the east. It would be moving very quickly. You wouldn't be able to see it because it's nighttime, so that makes it more dangerous. But yeah, it looks like the latest scan, it actually weakened a little bit, so that's some good news. Yeah,
well, that is good news, but you're right. The leading edge of that line of storms, though, is producing 70-mile-an-hour winds. So even though we have technically a tornado warning here, I don't know that the wind speeds on this tornado warned storm are really going to be any different than the straight line winds that we have. And now we have a new severe thunderstorm warning that's coming out for Tarrant County for winds of 70+ miles an hour. That's this cluster of storms here that's going to be moving into the west side of Tarrant County here momentarily. The smaller destructive warning remains valid as well. This is the one down to the south, but this is going to be extended. And it's all what's happening in Weatherford. It's what happened in Mineral Wells where we have damage. It's moved into Weatherford right now. We saw the strong winds there on that camera, and that's going to be moving into Tarrant County in the next, I would say within the next 30 to 45 minutes. That's where our Scoop Jefferson is. Scoop, I don't know where you are right now in Tarrant, but, oh, you're in Everman. Okay, you're in Everman right now. Give me an update. I see the heavy rain.
Yeah, it started raining here just a few minutes ago, pretty heavy. The wind had calmed down and then it picked back up. So we're getting a lot of wind right now and a lot of rain. We started getting lightning about a half hour ago, and now it's more constant lightning. As you can hear now, we're getting thunder as well. People have pulled into the gas station here on Forest Hill Drive to protect their vehicles in case we do start getting the hail. It is, again, wind picking up more and more. So we're going to keep monitoring what's happening here in Everman and throughout the evening and bring you more updates. Pete, back to you in the studio.
Okay, Scoop, thanks a ton for that. Stay out of the lightning, buddy, with that umbrella. I know you're in a safe place. Let's go back to that weather. Yep, it's really, really rolling through Weatherford here right now. I mean, we have winds. Now, this is at, I looked, that's at the Mineral Wells Airport, okay? We're also trying to right now, so that's on the backside of the storm. We're trying to get some information right now with the wind speeds. But I mean, this is really rolling through Weatherford right now. These are the 70 to 80 mile an hour winds. Burleson right now, you've set off your outdoor warning sirens. Tarrant County, southwestern Tarrant County, you have turned on your outdoor warning sirens as well. And that's the appropriate time to do it when you have winds that are this strong and you have a tornado warning, of course, it's in effect too. So some strong winds. We'll go back to the radar. We'll put a quick track on that. And Jesse and Cassie, if you guys have any information that you want to share here in just a moment, I want Jason to put a track on this storm, the leading edge of that's rolling through Weatherford. That's Weatherford College in this location right here, just north of I-20, south of downtown Weatherford. Let's put a track on that as it rolls off to the east at about 50 miles, 50, 55 miles an hour. It's crazy how fast the forward speed on this thing is. 11:16 right now, that puts it in Willow Oak here any moment. Aledo 11:21, Iona 11:24, Godley 11:25, Azle 11:29, Benbrook 11:31, Benbrook southwest of downtown, Joshua 11:35, the Fort Worth Zoo 11:38, Fort Worth's 11:40. Let's go to our Fort Worth camera. Man, it is really coming down on all these Dallas cameras right now. But let's go to our Fort Worth camera. Can you guys in the control room put that up real fast? There we go. See a little bit of lightning in downtown Fort Worth, but man, it is really what's that, Jesse? That was crazy. It's really thundering here in downtown Dallas right now. 71 though in Fort Worth. Let's go to some of these control room. If you could, or Jason, if you could do this, let's put up. Yeah, let's have Jason put them up because they'll have the winds. You can see Fort Worth's got a wind right now out of the north-northwest at 52. Jason, just pop in your cameras, whichever ones you have, because all my Dallas cameras are lighting up right now. There's Weatherford. Winds have lightened up at that location, our WFAA studios. We're kind of in the heart of it right now with the heavy rain. Winds gusting in our studios to 45 miles an hour. Temp has cooled from, I think it was like 86 or 87. It's dropped to 71. That's downtown. Here's Fair Park. You can't even see the city of Dallas right now because the rain's coming down so hard. 70, lots of lightning. Winds of 43 miles an hour. Things have calmed down up at UNT. Winds are gusting to 33 miles an hour. The temperature's cooled off to 72 degrees. Our Clyde Warren Park camera, is that Clyde Warren Park? That's DBU. DBU's at 71. Winds are at 52. A lot of lightning. And here's DFW Airport. Winds have measured there. Look at that, 68 mile an hour gust at DFW. North-northwest winds at 52 miles an hour. And okay. So let's do this. Let's go back to that Weatherford camera. We had the Palo Pinto County Fire Marshal on the line. Please tell us please forgive me. It's Chad Johnson. Chad, give me an update on what you've been seeing in Palo Pinto County. I saw some problems there in Mineral Wells. What else do you know?
Yeah, so it's Chad Jordan, Jordan. So it's raining here. It's let up a whole lot, so it's just raining a little bit. We definitely have some power lines down around Mineral Wells. Have a little bit of structural damage to some metal buildings around that I'm getting reports of. Some trees are down in Strawn, which have affected some power lines. Up around PK Lake, I'm hearing a lot of the same. There was just heavy winds and some trees and debris down. The storm came in, and here in Mineral Wells on the west side where I was stationed at, it came in pretty quick, a little later than expected, but it passed through a little quicker than maybe I was anticipating it to.
Chad, I appreciate the update. Boy, it is really rolling through there right now. We've got our Weatherford camera up. We have some fires that have taken place in different parts of the Metroplex right now due to all the lightning. What we're showing right now on TV is a fire that's up in McKinney due to a lightning strike. We can see the flames right now. Then we go back to our Weatherford camera. We did have some wind gusts right now that we noticed. Wind gusts that were around 80 miles an hour or stronger. Did you happen to hear anything from a wind gust perspective, any speeds in addition to the damage you just told us about?
I have not got any updates on any speeds. Normally our airport could give us some of that stuff, but I've not been able to get with anybody with power being out. A little bit of communication difficulties here. Our 911 center in Palo Pinto is having some problems. Phone lines are down, radio consoles are sketchy. We've got some towers down. So it's making some of the information coming in a little bit delayed and a little bit difficult to get.
Okay. Well, Chad, we certainly appreciate your help. Chad Jordan with the fire marshal there in Palo Pinto County. Chad, if you have any more information, please call back to the station here. You have this number, and we would love to get an update from you. But thank you for your time, and stay safe tonight.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
The tornado warning that we did have in effect right now, it looks like it has really weakened there, and I mean the circulation is really gone in that last scan. So the tornado warning is going to be canceled here very, very shortly. Yeah, the tornado warning for northwestern Johnson, southeastern Parker, southwestern Tarrant, and northeastern Hood counties is now canceled. So Cassie, that's exactly what, we'll put the radar back up. Cassie, that's exactly what you were talking about just a few moments ago. There are these quick spin ups, but if it's on the ground for 2 or 3 minutes,
Yeah.
well, you're going to have a serious problem in just a real, almost a blink of an eye, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that one was canceled. I'm curious, looking at our Velocity product, just right around Willow Park, it almost looks like it's going to try and take that S figuration. And when you get that S figuration, sometimes it can actually tighten up a little bit and you can get another quick spin up. So I'm wondering what the next scan is going to look like just south of Willow Park. So there's no tornado warning with that right now. And they're really, even if there wasn't, that's where we're seeing that strongest wind. And earlier I was querying some of that data and we've had 80-mile-an-hour wind gusts. And there's the latest scan. And it doesn't look as imminent as what it did, but that's definitely an area that I would be continuing to watch.
Right in this area here, yeah. I tell you what, if you live in Willow Park, you need to be in your safe room right now. I mean, you are looking at some very intense 70-plus mile-an-hour winds from Willow Park down to Aledo. Aledo, you're kind of right there in the middle of it right now. That is some extremely strong winds on this thunderstorm that's approaching the west side of Tarrant County, and it will be in Tarrant County here. I mean, that's not, as the crow flies, that's just a couple of miles. It's not going to take very long before that's in Tarrant County. But right now, Willow Park, Aledo, you're under the gun. Our Weatherford camera is, let's go back to that, Jason. It looks like the rain has let up just a tad because Weatherford, you're on the backside. This Weatherford College camera is on the backside. But, I mean, still some really, really intense, heavy rain, a lot of lightning. The trees are still blowing around. Wind gusts reported at 79 miles an hour now at that location. So meteorologist Jesse Hawila is here as he is every night. And Jesse, tell me what you're seeing with this thunderstorm and the concern that you have for folks that live in Tarrant County, because when this moves into Tarrant County, unless it weakens dramatically, I mean, it's going to be in Tarrant County and it's going to bring the same type of punch, isn't it?
Yeah, and I was just posting on social media about that because I want folks to be aware in Tarrant County that I know the sirens are going off in Benbrook, and I know there was a tornado warning in that area just a moment ago, but they're likely still going to continue to go off because we could expect considerable damage from this particular segment of thunderstorms. You see how it's kind of arcing out?
It is. It's starting to bow a little bit here, isn't it? Yeah.
When you get to that apex there in those thunderstorms, you can have some seriously damaging winds. So Benbrook, the southwestern corner of Tarrant County, let's say.
Oh, look at that bow, Jesse.
Yeah.
Right there. So, right here. There's the concern.
So that's going to be that Aledo area, kind of along I-20 into Benbrook, and then that southwestern corner of Tarrant needs to know that these winds are these are not your standard severe thunderstorm. This is 75 to 80 mile per hour wind gusts. And we've been watching them on camera and getting confirmation of winds that strong. And they may get a little bit stronger, honestly, Pete. When you see it start to bow out like that, you may have a bigger burst of wind. So southwestern Tarrant County needs to prepare for that.
Yeah, let's go quickly over into Dallas County. I have some folks asking what's going on in Dallas County. And we still have very intense thunderstorms in Dallas County. I mean, it is really, really coming down in Dallas County. Jason, go back to the velocity data for just a second and kind of zoom out and let me show. Yeah, hang right there. That's the worst of the worst right now. Okay, that's getting ready to move into Tarrant County. These are the strongest winds. You see that color? You don't see that anywhere else. That's great news. Bad news if you're here. Good news if you're over here. Now, you're still seeing 60-mile-an-hour winds. You're just not seeing the 70 to 80 plus that they're starting to see move into that west side of Tarrant County that's moving toward you in Benbrook and moving toward you in downtown Fort Worth itself and River Oaks, the Fort Worth Zoo, those locations. But in Dallas County, let's go back and take a look at the reflectivity. Look at all the heavy rain, the lightning that's taking place there. Our Sydney Persing is outside. Sydney, I know you're in a safe place. Give us an update because it's really coming down where you are right now. A lot of lightning, and tell us about the wind.
Absolutely, Pete, which is why we actually moved inside of our car. So the shot that our viewers are looking at right now is essentially our dash cam camera. And you can see there are a good number of cars out here on the road, but the rain has been coming down heavy. When we talked to you maybe 10, 15 minutes ago, just after we finished our live shot, it came down real heavy, real fast, ton of lightning. Honestly, some of the loudest thunder I've heard in a long time. So that's why we got in the car to show you what the roads look like, so it's safe for us, and also we can give everyone at home an idea of what the conditions look like out here. You can see there's still a lot of rain, and as soon as we left, we were in a parking garage, we came out. The rain was so heavy at the time, we actually had to wait about a minute or two to hit the road because it was so heavy, we really could not see to drive. Obviously, that's changed. We can see it's safe. And I'm not sure how much you're able to tell on the camera, Pete, and everyone at home, but there's been a good bit of ponding water on the road. I spoke with folks with the city of Dallas earlier today, and I know that was like the chief concern for them, among other things, of course. But one of the things they said they'd be taking a look at first is just monitoring areas where water can get high historically during severe weather. So this is fine. We're having a fine time driving, but the roads are definitely wet. And when you hit some of those lower points, it pools quite quickly. Given, this is how severe weather works. This is how a lot of rain works. It wasn't raining that long, and we started to see it pool quite fast and significantly. So we're taking our time on the road. We're being safe. Again, as you can see, there are cars out here, and I was surprised at quite how many folks, even in the really most intense part of that rain, were out here on foot or biking. And so just a reminder to folks, obviously, if you're listening to us, you're hopefully at home and you're not out on the road walking or biking, but this is not the kind of weather you want to be walking around in. The sidewalks are very wet, too. So we'll be out here in downtown Dallas. We'll continue to drive around, stay safe, and let you know what things look like out here, Pete.
Well, Sydney, I appreciate that update. I'm getting some reports from folks. Weather team volunteer Joe Hickman just texted me, and he said that they just had a transformer blow at Mockingbird and Inwood, and that whole area right now is without power. So there's a lot of locations right now that don't have power in parts of Dallas County. Teresa, I know you've been checking with Encore. You've had some updates, but in addition to that, I will tell you I'm extremely concerned for what's happening right now. It's starting to move into Tarrant County. Forest Hill, Kennedale, right now, there's a new warning that is coming out for those locations for 80 mile. These are destructive winds, 80-mile-an-hour winds. If you live in Benbrook, any moment now, this thunderstorm is going to hit you in Benbrook. And when it does, it is really going to pack quite the punch. And you can see those winds. Jason, could you query those for me, please? I mean, these are destructive winds, 68 miles an hour. Doppler radar is indicating that. Some of our storm chasers that are out are telling us they estimate the winds to be close to 80 miles an hour. So here we go. We have a velocity that just dropped off to 75. But if you live in Benbrook right now, please go to your safe room. This is a destructive storm. We've had damage in parts of Palo Pinto County. We've had damage in parts of Parker County right now. We have Doppler radars indicating winds of 84 miles an hour. That's moving toward you in Benbrook, those same winds. So we have probably 60 to 70 here. Then we have some 80-mile-an-hour winds, 80-plus-mile-an-hour winds that are just to the west of you in Benbrook that are going to be moving in. So you think the wind, let's go back to that Weatherford camera. Things have calmed down quite a bit in Weatherford, and all of it now is moving toward Benbrook. So, I mean, quite a difference here just in the last, 10 minutes or so. It's really calmed down in the last 10 minutes in Weatherford, but now it's starting to intensify, as it heads into Tarrant County, that southwestern side of Tarrant County. We are getting reports of 80-mile-an-hour winds with this right now, just off the surface. So, some really, that's Doppler radars indicating 80-mile-an-hour winds just about 1,000 feet above the surface. So some damaging winds are heading toward you in Benbrook. Let's go back to the radar. Let's put a track on it. Moving off to the east right now, this whole cluster of thunderstorms. You know what you could do, Jason? Let's put the velocity on. Let's track that. Because here's the warning we have. It goes until this is going to be extended. So let's track the velocity data, kind of this leading edge where we have this bow that's taking place on the velocity data. Move it off to the east. Yeah, that's perfect. East at about 50, 55 miles per hour. There it is. That's in White Settlement any moment now. You can expect it to be at TCU at 11:36. So the timing's been pretty consistent. The Fort Worth Zoo at 11:37, Everman 11:39, Fort Worth at 11:40. That's where we have Scoop Jefferson. Scoop's in Everman. I'm going to check in with him in just a moment. Let's see, Everman 11:39, so that's less than 8 minutes. Fort Worth 11:40, Kennedale 11:44, Bisbee 11:47, Handley 11:47, Dalworthington Gardens 11:50, Johnson's Station 11:51, Arlington 11:54, and Mansfield 11:55. Scoop, are you still with us, buddy? Give me an update right now. I know you were in Everman earlier. Masaki, do we still have Scoop Jefferson? Not yet. We're going to have him here in just a moment. Working on getting Scoop back up, getting his live shot back up. He was in Everman. That storm's going to arrive in Everman in 6-7 minutes. So it's really, really, really close. Here's Scoop somewhere. I don't know exactly where in Everman, but he's somewhere in this area. Let's go back to the, Scoop, are you ready? Scoop, where are you in Everman, if you can tell me, and give me an update on the weather from what you're seeing there.
Yeah, we're on Forest Hill Drive here in Everman, one of the main streets that run through the city. And right now, things are a lot more calmer than the last live shot. The rain has subsided, the wind has calmed down just a little bit, but we're still seeing some lightning and thundering. Here in Everman, the Everman Fire Department, they have actually taken on extra shifts just in case they have to respond overnight to any weather emergencies. Those firefighters are coming in voluntarily. They were asked by firemen, the fire chief, Lyndon Watley, if they would do extra shifts just in case because of the forecast. Again, earlier it was lightning, thundering, but things have calmed down. It looks like the storm has calmed down just a little bit here in Everman. Pete, back to you.
Scoop, it's calmed down for now, buddy, but you have the big part of the storm is about 6-7 minutes away. So we'll check in with you. Make sure you're in a safe place. I know you always are, but just want to reinforce that. They're turning on the sirens right now in Arlington. So the Arlington sirens have been activated for 70 to 80 mile an hour winds. Now, we also have Richard Solomon and Josh Stephen. That's where they are. We can see that on camera right now, and I know up in the control room. So this is where Scoop is down. Where's Everman here on my map? I've lost Everman. We're in that general area there. But this is where Richard Solomon is, and I think they're going to get up on I-20 and head that direction. Jesse, where did you send them?
Yeah, they're going to stay right there because they're in a safe place. There's a quick trip there at the intersection of Everman and 35W. And so, in fact, we've got it right there. They're sitting there, and they're going to be facing west. Do we have their shot booth? I think we have it maybe. So they're going to be right there where that big burst of wind is coming. So I'm having them face west, and that's kind of where we're facing right now. So we're going to keep an eye on this shot. I can see police officers there at the QT as well, kind of facing the same direction, and I would imagine they're facing that way because that's where that big burst of wind is. In fact, so we have this shot. If we can go back to radar for just a moment. I know I'm switching you back and forth. We're going to go back to their shot in a second. So you see where they are, and you see that blue color there. That is intense wind.
This right here. I mean, that is, Jason, query that for me. That's got to be 80. Now, 89.
And that's headed their direction. So we're going to get a really good view of what to expect here. And we have them in a safe place, and they feel comfortable. So we're just going to watch this as it moves in.
And let's do this. Let's put a track on this this line. And Jason, let's take our velocity off. These are 90 mile an hour winds with this. Let's track this, the leading edge, not the core of it, but the leading edge, just so folks have a good heads up when this storm. I mean, because you look at the reflectivity, and it's not really that impressive. But again, this is just one of about 24 tools that Doppler radar has. This is the stuff that we look at behind the scenes all the time. So let's put a track. That's perfect, Jason. We'll put that track, and it's east at 50 to 55 miles an hour. So that's going to be at TCU, 11:38, just in a couple of minutes. Fort Worth Zoo, 11:39. Crowley, 11:42. Fort Worth itself, 11:42. I'm looking at my Fort Worth camera here. Let's go to that Fort Worth camera real fast. Can you put that up for me, Masaki? Can we put that up? I'm seeing a lot of lightning on that Fort Worth camera. Jason, keep this right here. Now this is looking off to the east, so there's a lot of thunder, a lot of lightning in Dallas, but there's some 60-mile-an-hour winds in Dallas. But the most intense, I mean, you just saw it. Doppler radar is indicating 89-mile-an-hour winds with that storm. So the storm's on the back side of this camera here. Let's go back over to the radar for me. Fort Worth arrival time's 11:42. Forest Hill 11:44. Garden Acres 11:45. Kennedale 11:47. Handley at 11:49, and Rendon at 11:50. So Richard's here, I would think. Crowley's about the time, 11:42, so in less than 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, that leading edge is going to be there. Now, Jason, do this. Let's put a track from the core of the storm right here. Let's take this track off, and you know what? Let me zoom in real fast, if you will. Zoom into that velocity data. Let me show folks, if you live in this location right now, I do want you to know, Arlington sounded this out. Zoom in real tight. I want to see some streets here in Benbrook. I think a lot of folks are familiar with, let's go off to the northwest just a little bit. There's an area up here that I think a lot of folks, there's a sporting clays course here, Team Ranch. There's a sporting clays course here that a lot of folks are familiar with. It's this area right here. Here's I-20 to the north, so Team Ranch is right here. And that's where we have some really, really strong winds at this moment. I mean, we're looking at winds of, 80, 90 miles an hour in this area. There's a big neighborhood there, 79 miles an hour. There's a big neighborhood over here just on the other side of Aledo Road. Let's shift the map a little bit, Jason, so we can show this neighborhood over here on this other side of Aledo Road. A friend of mine, John Durham, lives over in this neighborhood here. And so I haven't had any texts from John tonight, but I do know that he's in this area here right on the west side of 377. And it's really, really, I'll hear from him tomorrow morning, some really, really strong winds in this location, this neighborhood that runs right along and then on the east side of Aledo Road. So let's zoom that back out. Let me see where the most intense storm, we lost our light blue color. We've switched over to the bright red, which really tells the same story. Boy, it really sticks out there. So let's zoom that out, because I want to show folks in Dallas County what's happening there. And we still have some, let's go over into Dallas County right now. Richard, okay, we're gonna stay in Tarrant. Let me go to Richard. Let's put Richard back on the map so folks can see just exactly where he is. He's in Everman right now, right at a quick trip there off of 35W. So Richard, give me an update. We'll get you back here on the radar, and we'll go back to your camera.
Well, yeah, Pete, these are some of the strongest winds we've seen all night. Again, we're in Everman off of 35W, and just look at this wind out here. I mean, this is the wind that you were talking about all evening long. It's pushing this way. You can see how much rain is moving through this area. Now, under the awning that we're at, I've seen a lot of vehicles just pull over just to get out of this mess. There were also several first responders, Fort Worth police officers. There are some MedStar units just here waiting to deploy if they need to. But again, we're in Everman, so I know Scoop is somewhere around this area, but you can just hear and just see this wind. See, look at the water just rushing off the top of this building right here, off top of this awning right here. I mean, this storm is really moving through this area. Again, these are some of the strongest winds we've seen all night out here, Pete. We're gonna stay in this area and work this area and make sure there's no damage as this storm continues to move through here. But again, we're in Everman. This is just off of I-35W, and we'll give you another update when we can.
Okay, Richard, we appreciate that update. As we take a look at, man, look at that there in Benbrook. That's Defender Outdoors. That's that Sporting Clays course over here just in Benbrook, right there at Team Ranch, southwest of downtown Fort Worth. So really, really strong winds. Very populated area right now. Big neighborhood over here just on the east side of that. That's where Richard is with our photographer, Josh Stephen. Let's go back. It's 11:40 right now. Let's go back to Scoop. Scoop, I know you're in that area over there as well. Let me see what's happening where you are. Do we still have Scoop Jefferson right now? Okay. There's Scoop shot. Rain has picked up. I don't see much in the way of wind there. That's in Everman right now. Scoop, can you talk, buddy? You might not be able to hear me, and that's okay. Just some. We'll give him just a second to see if he can. I know obviously we have the camera up. Okay. Just some in that location where Scoop is. I don't know if he's north or south of Richard and Josh there, and you can see where they're located, Unit 15. But Scoop is somewhere in that general area. But the strongest winds have not reached them just yet. Let's put another track on this, and while we do that, we'll put the leave this on. I like the storm velocity because that shows the most intense part of the storm. But Jesse, Cassie, you guys have any? You guys have any update for me? Anything that you're seeing behind the scenes that you want to share?
Yeah, actually, I've been watching that velocity, and it's still, severe wind. We're talking wind gusts to 70 miles an hour. We were looking at 80, and the latest scan has it coming down to 70 miles an hour, which is obviously still severe, but I'm not currently seeing that 80 mile an hour plus wind. And I'm wondering if I go back to reflectivity, looking at Jason's computer here now. When we go to reflectivity, you can see that storm coming in from the west, and then if we zoom out, we're watching those storms coming into the Metroplex, and I'm wondering how much that is actually playing a role in maybe trying to weaken these storms as they get a little bit closer into the Metroplex. That could actually be the saving grace for the Metroplex of not seeing those more destructive winds. So hopefully it kind of looked like it was trying to weaken a little bit. I still would not be out in this by any means, but the further east that it goes, it might try to weaken now that we've already had this strong complex of storms move through the Metroplex.
Okay. Yeah, and Cassie, you bring up a great point there, that maybe it's weakening a little bit because of the interaction with the other storms, but it's also creating a flooding issue. So Dallas and Tarrant County right now are under flash flood warnings. That goes until 3 o'clock in the morning. We're looking at a couple of inches of rain in a short period of time. This is back in Everman. That's where Richard Solomon, that's where he is. So you can see the wind has picked up a little bit. The core of the storm is still not at his location, but very heavy rain. And right now with the heavy rain that's falling, not only in Tarrant County, but also in Dallas County, I do want to go to our Sydney Persing. Sydney's in Dallas County, and apparently we have cars that are flooded right now. And Sydney, give me an update. Is anyone trapped in these cars? What's happening? Okay, we're getting her camera set up. And Bailey, I don't know if that's you. You said that there's a rescue that's taking place right now. Fire rescue is there to pull people from their car. Okay. So the fire department's there to pull people from their car. So, I mean, you're looking at just in the past 3 hours, and we have some flash flooding that's taking place in Dallas County right now. Man, I mean, don't go out tonight. I mean, just don't go out. You're seeing this very, very heavy rain. I mean, this is just in the last 3 hours. We picked up, 1.5 inches or more, up to 1 inch here. So the rain is really, really coming down at this point. And we'll get Sydney's live shot up, and we'll talk to her in just a moment. But look at all the heavy rain that has fallen here across Dallas County, and it's going to stick around for several more hours. That's why that flash flood warning is in effect. I think that goes until 3 o'clock. And Jason, what counties is that under? Obviously Dallas, Tarrant County's under a flash flood warning. Oh, yep, Dallas and Tarrant until 3 o'clock in the morning. So some very, very heavy rain has fallen there as well. We have Collin and Denton flash flood warnings are in effect until 2:30. So we're starting to transition in part of the Metroplex. We're starting to transition from I should say the northern half of the Metroplex, Collin and Denton County, transitioning from a severe wind situation to a flash flooding situation over the next couple of hours. Dallas County and Tarrant County, unfortunately, have both going on. Severe winds of 70 plus, and also flash flooding that's taking place. And all of this is going to shift to the south. And as it shifts to the south, Johnson County, you'll have some of this. Ellis County, you'll get quite a bit. Kaufman County, you're inundated with the rain right now as well. Our Teresa Woodard's been here in the studio with us all evening. Teresa, what are you hearing in Dallas with this high water rescue that's taking place right now.
Yeah, Pete, I don't know anything more except for what you said earlier about fire and rescue on the scene where there is some high water. And so we're going to stand by and see if we can maybe bring Sydney Persing in. I'm not sure if Sydney has any additional information about that. As I'm waiting on some information from Sydney or from any of the other crews, I do want to just remind folks that we have confirmation of damage throughout the region. And Pete, if you need to jump back in with any warning, just of course interrupt me at any moment in time. But I just want to talk folks through the things that we have seen through the evening. So it is now 11:46 p.m. And as we've been talking you through this, we knew that we were going to have a night like this.
Let's go back to Scoop Jefferson in Everman. And Scoop, the wind has really picked up, hasn't it?
It really has, Pete. You are absolutely right. The wind has picked up, the rain has picked up, and just a few minutes ago, the emergency sirens have started sounding. I talked to the fire chief earlier, and he says that those sirens may not be heard inside your home, but those sirens, the warning sirens, they're for people who are outside to take cover and to wait for emergency updates. Again, the wind has picked up, and the rain is coming in as well. Here in Everman. I'm on Forest Hill Drive, again, where obviously the wind is getting heavier and heavier, and the siren, and I don't know if you can hear it, but it is going off right now to warn people to take shelter that the storm has arrived here in this area. Back to you in the studio, Pete.
Scoop, all my years doing this, I don't think I've ever seen a reporter that calm and that collected when you're standing there trying to hold that umbrella, but I give you credit for that, buddy. Stay safe. I'm going to check in with you in a few more minutes. Richard is out there. Richard Solomon and Josh Stephen are out there right now as well. I believe they're right here in this area. They're also not far from where Scoop is. The winds have decreased a little bit. The velocity doesn't look as crazy as it did just a few moments ago. But Richard, give me an update on what you're seeing at your location.
Well, Pete, I'm not having an umbrella out here in this weather, but as you can just see with my hood just flying back, just look at this wind. This storm is moving through here as we speak. Take a look over here. Again, we're in Everman. We're just off of I-35W. You can just feel this wind pushing off this awning here at this quick trip. I mean, just look at the pattern of this rain flowing through the wind right now. And we've seen a lot of first responders over here hunkering down, waiting to respond if they need to. And again, Pete, you've said this all night, right? Not all of these areas are going to see 80-mile-per-hour winds, but it's just something that you don't want to play with, right? I saw a lot of people here just staying safe, getting out of this weather. There are some folks who are still pulling in like this car right here. But again, this storm is here in Everman, so if you are out and about, just please take cover and stay safe. Keep your family safe during this time. I'll give you another live update when we get more moving through this area for now. I'm getting plastered with rain.
Richard, I appreciate the update. I want to head south of where Richard is right now. I want to head down to Johnson County. I wouldn't be surprised if they issue a tornado warning on this just outside of Cleburne. We do have some velocity data starting to show a bit of circulation, almost seeing a hook trying to develop here south of Cleburne, north of Rio Vista. So, I mean, at a minimum, you're looking at, I would think, 60 to 70 plus mile-an-hour winds on this thunderstorm that's down here. There's Cleburne, there's Rio Vista. If you live in Cuba, you need to go to your safe room right now. There's not a warning. Is there a thunderstorm warning on this? I would have to think there's at least a thunderstorm warning.
Yeah, there's a thunderstorm warning, and like you said, we've been watching for that rotation. It's starting to really tighten up there.
It really is. You kind of see it starting to hook around here just a little bit. But if you live in Cuba, if you live in Grandview, this east side of Johnson County, this is south of downtown Fort Worth, of course, Johnson County is. But if you live east of Cleburne, northeast of Rio Vista, man, you better go to your safe room right now because this storm is really starting to wrap up. At a minimum, you're looking at straight line winds of 60 plus miles an hour. Let's put the reflectivity back on. We can put a track on this, move it off to the east because it's moving toward Ellis County. Move it off to the east at about 50 miles an hour, just racing along that forward speed. Yeah, we can track it with the velocity data. That's almost easier to keep an eye on. Cuba. It's 1150. It's there. It's almost there now. Grandview 1158. Maypearl 1209. and Forreston at 12:19. That's the latest. Let's head back up into Dallas County. Let me show you what's happening. Do we have Sydney Persing? Have we been able to reconnect with her with the heavy rain that's falling in Dallas? We'll continue to work on that, and we certainly will get back with Sydney. There was apparently some type of a rescue taking place, 2 cars with people in them that the fire department was trying to get out. So very, very heavy rain up in Dallas County and Tarrant County as well. We have heavy rain. Flash flood warnings in effect until 3 o'clock tonight with these thunderstorms that have been producing multiple inches of rain in a very short period of time. Do we have anything, Jason, that we can show like rainfall totals? Can we put that up so folks in Tarrant and also in Dallas County can see how much rain has fallen? I know it's going to take just a moment or so. And again, this is Doppler radar estimated rainfall totals, but it's usually pretty close. Hail has a tendency to skew the Doppler radar rainfall totals, but we haven't had hardly any hail with this. So these numbers, I bet, are going to be pretty close. There's you get out around Benbrook, over inch and 1.8, 2.5 here in Dallas County on the west side, 2.4 to the south. Zoom into the city of Dallas, Jason, if you can. Get into Dallas proper itself, and let's see how much rain the Park Cities have. Joe Hickman texted me a little while ago and said they had a transformer that had blown there at Mockingbird and Inwood, and power was out. So you could see well over 2 inches of rain. A lot of lightning has taken place. Back into Tarrant County, that's where Scoop Jefferson is. Scoop, give me an update on what's happening there. Looks like some wind-blown rain there at the vape shop. Okay. Yep, we'll check in with Scoop. Well, you can see the water is really ponding there at this location in Everman where Scoop Jefferson is. Let's go back into Dallas. Look at that wind-blown rain there at that chevron. Let's go back to Sydney's shot in Dallas County. And Sydney, oh, we have you now. Sydney, give me an update on what you're seeing and what's happened there.
Well, Pete, I'm just going to have my photographer, Justin, just zoom right in for you, because as you can see, we have had cars stuck in this water for about the last 15 minutes. We called the fire department, who showed up. You'll have to forgive me. It's very hard to see. I know we're zoomed in. Justin, what is that, 2 cars still in there? It looks like we've got 2 cars still stuck in the water, but rescue vehicles have come to help them. What has been remarkable, Pete, standing out here, we've been trying to get our shot up, so we've just been watching this. Despite the fact that there have been cars stuck in this standing water, so many cars have plowed through it. They've almost hit those cars. One car plowed into a barrier that was nearby. I mean, people have been flying down this road. This is why we tell folks to be careful and to stay home during this. As we were driving through downtown Dallas, there were a lot of spots that were very dry, and then we hit this low spot, and we saw several cars get stuck. So as you can see, there's a Dallas Fire Rescue crew here on scene, it looks like. There have been cars trying to help folks get out, but again, it looks like we have at least 2, maybe 3 cars. Maybe, is that 4, Justin? 1, 2, it looks like maybe 4 cars. We see some with their flashers on. It's unclear from my vantage point if those cars in the very back are stuck as well, or if they've got their flashers on because they're here to help some of the other cars. But as you can see, again, this is yeah, that car's getting out. That car's fine. So it looks like maybe just 2 now. And one of the cars that was stuck in there earlier was fortunately able to get out. But again, this is why we tell people to be really careful and to not get on the roads. And I'll just say once more, it was tough to see how many cars were out here almost hitting those cars and going through that water. So dicey situation. Please be careful if you are heading out on the roads. We'll continue to stay here. It looks like a lot of the folks have gotten out, which is good. And we'll let you know if we see any more, Pete.
Okay, Sydney, thank you so much for that update. It's always remarkable to me when people do this at night, and I know you have to, maybe someone's heading home from work, or maybe you're, going to work or something like that, but it's always like, man, you got to be aware of this stuff. And I mean, I know it's really tough to see at night, but man, you get rain like this, you just certainly want to be careful. You put yourself in a bad situation, and certainly other folks as well. So wish those folks nothing but the best as they trying to navigate through a difficult time this evening. Heavy rain still falling. Dallas County, Tarrant County. Flash flood warnings are in effect until 3 o'clock in the morning. So we're starting to transition over to some really, really heavy rain. Meteorologist Cassie Hyder is here with us as well. And Cassie, it looks like a new severe thunderstorm warning is going to come out for parts of Johnson County, Hill County, Ellis County. The severe threat, the damaging winds of 70 miles an hour or stronger right now is starting to shift south of the Metroplex. The Metroplex right now inundated with a lot of rain and strong 50 to 60 mile an hour winds. But the strongest winds, the severe weather situation, is starting to shift south of the Metroplex. And in the Metroplex, we're dealing with flooding. South of the Metroplex is dealing with damaging winds. And then eventually these areas south of the Metroplex, Johnson County, Ellis County, and location south, Cassie, they too will start to deal with flash flooding at some point as we head through the early morning hours, right?
Yes, absolutely. So it looks like, we were looking at the velocity products earlier about where the different wind was. Of course, we've got a lot of rain here in the Metroplex, but earlier we were looking at that damaging wind that was coming out of Weatherford, and it looks like it was headed straight to just south of Fort Worth, and fortunately it just kind of died out pretty quickly. It really went away. There's still going to be wind gust in there, but it doesn't really look all that severe. The severe part of the wind, it's actually starting to pick up a little bit more of a line. It looks like in between Midlothian. It's going to be west of Midlothian. It's also going to be just west of Grandview down towards Rio Vista. That's where the strongest wind is actually going to be now. So it looks like the storms that came through the Metroplex, that was actually part of our saving grace. It helped to push some of the stronger storms from our west down to the south. So it looks like the stronger part of these storms that could include those damaging winds, that's just going to continue to push off to the south and east from here on out, it looks like.
Yeah, that's good news and bad news, right? The flash flooding is certainly, and if you're new here, this is the flash flood capital of the United States, the state of Texas is, and it literally runs from the Red River right along Interstate 35. It goes right through Dallas, Fort Worth. It heads on down to Austin, and then it continues south down to San Antonio, then eventually down to Laredo. So that's like a flash flood corridor. And again, the flash flood capital of the United States runs right along that corridor throughout the whole state of Texas. So we don't ever want people, listen, the winds may have lightened up in your area, but now you're dealing with flash flooding. And unfortunately, there's one death is too many. Unfortunately, we see this happen every spring where there's more than one. It can happen way too often. Let's go to our Scoop Jefferson right now. Scoop, you're over in Everman. You are in Tarrant County. You're still under a severe thunderstorm warning and a flash flood warning. Is it really coming down there still?